Hey everybody, thanks for checking out another Daily Dose. Chris here. We are still in our little series of hidden gems. These cool little nuggets, verses, maybe not full messages, but little things in the Bible that hopefully encourage you each and every day. Here's one of my all-time favorites. In fact, if you've ever been to a wedding I've done, you've heard this. If you're going to be one day at a wedding I've done, you're probably going to hear this. This is my go-to wedding passage. Because of North Coast and our size and what we do on the weekends, I can't do any weekend weddings anymore. But occasionally, a Tuesday morning at 10, I'm like, oh, I'm your guy. Wednesday afternoon at 4, man, I'm your guy. And you're going to hear John chapter 2. It goes like this. My entire watch just blew off. That is so cool. John chapter 2. 2 days later, Jesus' mother was a guest at a wedding in the village of Cana in Galilee. See why I like this as a wedding story? Jesus and his disciples were invited there as well, and the wine supply ran out during the festivities. Jesus' mother came to him with this problem. I can't help you now, Jesus said. It's not yet my time for miracles. But his mother told the servants, do whatever he tells you to. Now 6 stone water pots were standing there. They were used for Jewish ceremonial purposes and held about 20 to 30 gallons each. And Jesus told the servants, fill them to the brim with water. When this was done, he said, dip some out, take it to the master of ceremonies. And when the master of ceremonies tasted the water that was now wine, not knowing where it had come from, though of course the servants did, he called the groom over to himself. This is wonderful stuff, he said. You're different from most. Usually, a host uses the best wine first, and afterwards, when everyone is full and no one cares anymore, they bring out the less expensive brand. But you have kept the best for the very last. This miracle in Cana in Galilee was Jesus' first public demonstration of his heavenly power, and his disciples believed that he truly was the Son of God. I love this story. Typical wedding. Wine supply runs out. Jesus is invited to the wedding, and now he's asked to work. And when Jesus is asked to work, he takes the ordinary water pot, and he makes something extraordinary out of it. He takes the natural water and he does something supernatural in it, to a point where the master of ceremonies, a guy who knows his wine, a guy who knows taste of wine, calls him over and says, this is wonderful stuff. Man, you're different from most. I love this little picture. Here's my question. Is Jesus invited in your life, or is he invited to work? There's a difference. I meet so many people who go, I'm a Christian. What's that mean? I'm a Christian. I'm one who believes in Christ or follows Christ. Oh, I'm a Christian. I pray. I start with dear God. I know who Jesus is. Okay, great. Jesus is invited. But is he allowed to work? Because just Jesus being invited to the wedding didn't change anything. But when he was allowed to work, that's where the ordinary becomes extraordinary. I got a couple other points I like to do in weddings, but you have to show up to a wedding to hear those. Today, this is my challenge. My bet is if you're watching the Daily Doses, most of you would call yourself a Christian. My response would be, well, good, maybe. But is he invited to work in your life today? There's a huge difference between saying I'm a Christian and allowing Christ to work. You're going to be given 1,000 different opportunities and choices today to allow Christ to work in your life or your old self to work in your life. People are going to cut you off. People are going to treat you poorly. There's going to be a need somewhere. There's going to be an interruption somewhere. You're going to be encountered all throughout your day with places where you go. Am I just good saying I'm a Christian, or am I allowing Christ to work? Where do I give someone love when my response would have probably been something different? Where do I give one my time, my treasures, my talents, when I normally would have just blown on by them because they're not part of my agenda? Where are you allowing God to shape you every day? I promise you set your mind on that. Being open to offer yourself as a living sacrifice. I'm not just a Christian, but I really want Christ to work and make choices for me all day long. Someone's eventually going to pull you aside and say, you're different from most. This is wonderful stuff. I don't know. It's just the way Jesus worked back then. I bet it's the way he works today. Are you a Christian today? Or are you going to allow Christ to work? You're the only one that can answer those questions. Oh, and I'm doing tomorrow. Come tomorrow. You got to show up tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about this. I know you don't know what it means yet, but show up tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. For today, Christian or allowing Christ to work. And then tomorrow,